The United States government has shut down, and it's worse than you think. This isn't just about politics. It isn't just about lawmakers failing to reach a deal. This is about your life, your paycheck, your safety, and the way America itself operates on a daily basis. What seems like a distant argument in Washington is actually something that affects everything from your travel plans to the economy in your town. Stay tuned, because in this breakdown, I'm going to walk you through exactly what this shutdown means, why it's different from the last ones, and what might come next if nothing changes. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you've been following along with us, you know we cover big breaking stories and dive deep into what they really mean. Today's topic is urgent and important. The United States government shutdown, and you need to understand what's really happening beneath the surface. By the end of this video, you'll know the full scope of this crisis and why some experts say this shutdown could be one of the most damaging in modern history. Let's start with the bigger picture, what you could call the exterior view. On the outside, the shutdown looks like Congress simply failed to agree on a spending bill. Politicians couldn't compromise, so funding for the federal government ran out. That's the surface story, the one you'll hear in headlines. But when you zoom out and look at America as a whole, it looks like a system grinding to a halt. Non-essential federal agencies are closed, hundreds of thousands of federal workers are furloughed without pay, and many services you rely on suddenly disappear. From national parks being shuttered to small businesses losing contracts, the shutdown leaves a visible scar on the exterior of the country's daily life. It's almost like looking at a car that's supposed to be the strongest and most reliable in the world, but its engine is stalled in the middle of the highway. If you peek inside, the interior is even more unsettling. Federal employees, from TSA agents at airports to workers in food safety inspections, face the uncertainty of going without paychecks. Families are forced to stretch savings. Morale inside government offices crashes, and even though some workers are still required to show up because their jobs are critical, they're doing it without knowing when they'll get paid. It's like stepping into a once organized, functioning control room that now feels half empty and neglected. The people who keep America running are left in limbo, and that interior stress adds up fast. Now let's talk about the performance of the country under shutdown. Think of performance like how smoothly the entire machine of government runs. During a shutdown, performance collapses. Vital programs like small business loans are delayed, housing assistance applications are frozen, scientific research projects stall, and military families feel the strain as support services slow down. Air travel suffers because controllers and security staff are stretched thin. Even the stock market reacts nervously, because investors know a government shutdown signals instability at the highest levels. This isn't just bad optics, it's bad economics. The United States, which prides itself on being the most reliable and resilient economy in the world, suddenly feels fragile. And the longer the shutdown drags on, the worse the performance gets. Just like a car left idling too long without fuel, it sputters, jerks, and risks total breakdown. Safety becomes another major concern. When federal agencies shut down, oversight weakens. Food safety inspections are scaled back. Federal law enforcement faces delays in resources. Even disaster relief efforts through agencies like FEMA can get disrupted if the shutdown lasts too long. Safety on a national scale depends on constant government performance, and when those systems falter, the cracks start to show. Everyday Americans may not notice at first, but as weeks go by, flights get delayed, borders feel strained, and critical services take longer to respond. The safety net becomes thinner and more unreliable, leaving people more vulnerable than they realize. And the truth is, a shutdown doesn't just make things inconvenient, it makes things riskier. When you look at the unique selling points of America, the shutdown puts them in jeopardy. The United States is known worldwide as a symbol of stability, a place where the government always pays its bills and institutions keep running no matter what. That reliability is one of the key reasons the US dollar is the world's reserve currency and why people around the world trust American bonds. But every time the government shuts down, that reputation takes a hit. Allies look at Washington and see chaos instead of leadership. Citizens start to doubt whether the system actually works for them, and businesses hesitate to invest because the rules of the game feel unpredictable. America's unique selling point, its stability, its reliability, its promise that the lights will always stay on, is damaged every time a shutdown occurs, and this one looks especially bad. Then comes the question of price. What does this shutdown actually cost? On paper, the answer is billions. The government loses productivity, businesses lose contracts, workers miss paychecks, and the economy slows down. In fact, studies from past shutdowns show that billions of dollars in GDP are lost every single week the government is closed. But beyond the numbers, there's another kind of price: the human cost. Families worry about paying rent or mortgages, parents struggle to buy groceries without a paycheck, and the stress level for hundreds of thousands of Americans skyrockets. The price also comes in the form of lost trust: trust in leaders, trust in the system, trust in the idea that the government will keep functioning no matter what. When that trust erodes, it takes a long time to rebuild. And here's where things get even more concerning. Unlike a car or a house, you can't simply pause the government and expect to turn it back on without consequences. Every day of shutdown builds a backlog of work that doesn't just vanish. Passport applications pile up, visa processing stalls, grant approvals get delayed, and courts face longer wait times. The United States doesn't just lose money, it loses momentum. And when momentum is lost, catching up can take weeks, sometimes months, even after the government reopens. So what's the conclusion? The government shutdown is far worse than most people realize. It's not just about politicians bickering in Washington. It's about the ripple effects that hit every corner of American life. From the exterior image of a stalled nation, to the interior reality of struggling workers, to the collapsing performance of services and the growing risks to safety, the damage is real. America's unique selling points, its reputation for stability and strength, are weakened, and the price tag, both economic and emotional, keeps climbing. The longer this shutdown continues, the harder it will be to repair the damage. If there's one thing you take away from this, it's that government shutdowns aren't abstract. They're personal. They affect your daily life in ways you might not notice immediately, but that build up fast. They affect the way the world sees America, and they affect the strength of the economy you rely on. So while politicians may frame this as a temporary standoff, the truth is, the costs are permanent. And unless there's real reform in how budgets are handled, we could see this cycle repeat again and again. So as we wrap up, remember this: the United States government shutdown is not just a headline. It's a warning about political dysfunction, about fragile systems, and about the price we all pay when leaders can't find common ground. And right now, it's worse than you think. I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have a real conversation. And if you want more clear breakdowns of complex world events, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Thanks for watching, and stay informed.